to a live episode of Surviving the Survivor. We bring you the best guests in all of true crime. Don't forget to subscribe and smash that like button. Here's your host, Emmy Award-winning broadcaster, Joel Waldman.
Ellen Greenberg had her bags packed. They were on her bed, signaling that she was getting to ready to imminently leave her fiance at the time, Sam Goldberg. She's then found with 20 stab wounds, other bruises in different variations of formation on her body, and a suicide ruling that's never, ever made sense, especially to the parents of Ellen Greenberg, who spent 14 years fighting for the truth. Welcome to Surviving the Survivor, everybody. This is the show that brings you the very best guests in all of true crime. And I'm talking about the story of Ellen Greenberg. She was a 27-year-old Philadelphia elementary school teacher, found brutally stabbed back in 2011 on the eve of a nor'easter, January 26th, stabbed 20 times, 10 stab wounds to the front, 10 to the very back of her head and neck. She's got a gash on her head. She's found in her apartment that she shared with her fiance. And though her death was first ruled a homicide, officials eventually, after a shady closed-door meeting, changed that ruling to a suicide, despite a knife lodged in her chest and no clear explanation. Ellen's fiance first calls his cousin, a guy named Kamian Schwartzman, who then gets in touch with his father and Sam's uncle, a guy named James Schwartzman, who happens to have been a judge and a criminal defense attorney. And when Sam finally gets around to calling 911, he begrudgingly asked the 911 operator, "Do I have to do CPR?" is the question. And it was more than 2 minutes into the call before he happens to notice a large knife protruding from Ellen's chest. Now, 14 years later, new forensic evidence and a sworn statement from the original medical examiner, who, guess what, now says it wasn't a suicide after all. And it is reigniting this case and the family, who says it has been a cover-up from the start. Welcoming back to the show, Josh and Sandee Greenberg, the parents of Ellen Greenberg. And let me bring in right away Tom Brennan, who is a retired Pennsylvania state trooper. He actually started the cold case unit there and is a private investigator and is excellent at what he does. Josh Greenberg, I'm going to start with you. I guess, like in the court of law, your opening statements here, we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of it, but you've got to be continually frustrated. There was a settlement and nothing has happened. Where do you stand today, July 18th, 2025?
I'd like this settlement to be dissolved in the garbage can, because that's what I think of Philadelphia. Throughout this whole thing, they have been doing nothing but lying, cheating, and if they could steal something, they probably would steal something from us. They hid things. They disowned knowing certain things. They said they didn't have evidence, which they ended up having. And we got to this point after 14 years where, because they have certain things, certain powers that we don't have, that we had to accept on a flash situation what we could get. We have really done very well. Our lawyers and Tom have done very well. We've gotten farther than anybody else in a situation like this. But it's very, very, very hard to beat City Hall. They have the power. They can literally take someone and say, you're innocent. They give you high immunity. Sounds like a Mel Brooks movie to me. But they give and then they say that your witness doesn't have any standing. You can't use your witness. They said we didn't have standing to do anything. We were about to go to the Supreme Court in Pennsylvania to look up standing and see if we could get standing to have a trial. And we had to take this agreement, which cut that out. Right now, there was two, I don't know if you'll call them major, but there was two things in their agreement. Number one, they were supposed to do a re-examination or reevaluation, I'm going to call it, of Ellen's suicide. Autopsy. Quote unquote, which wasn't a suicide. We don't care what they say. I don't care what they say. They could tell me that Ellen killed herself 40 times and then did murders of other people. I wouldn't believe what they say. I mean, I've gone through so many things where they have just lied to us. They lied to us about the wounds. One of the medical examiners at one time had looked at a wound in Ellen's back that went up into her skull. And she's told the head medical examiner that it was a post-mortem wound. You know what he said? Don't write a report. You know what they did? They didn't write a report.
And we
That
didn't find out
for
about this for 2 years until she was deposed.
Right. Deposition for a
That's
trial.
disgusting.
Yeah.
And then the judge, when we want to bring charges against her for a conspiracy, for a group conspiracy as part of it, he lets her go. I think the woman shouldn't ever practice whatever she practices, should not be allowed to work as a forensic scientist or anything. She has an obligation to the public, not to me, to the public, to be truthful. So these are the type of things that we've dealt with for 15 years. Then when we agreed to sign a deal, let's call it for lack of a better term, which is very, in my part, has lots of holes in it and doesn't really fulfill our main objective of getting the death certificate changed. They delay giving us certain things they're supposed to give us in the way of recuperation of our expenses. They delay in doing a evaluation of the records of Ellen's autopsy that led to a suicide. They delay that. So now we're sitting here waiting for them to do that. And I don't expect, I'm not waiting for anything, by the way. I don't expect them to ever tell the truth or ever say anything but Ellen had suicide. They've lied for so many years. And the lies and the misrepresentation and the wrongful, let's call it legal maneuvers and government in the Philadelphia and even in the Harris, Pennsylvania's Commonwealth under certain other people when somebody was an attorney general. These all are all there. They're all in the newspaper. They're all facts. There are 172 people that voluntarily signed a petition online to reopen the case. You know what happened? Nothing. We didn't do any solicitation on them. We didn't do any pressure. We didn't do any advertising. I don't even know how they found out we had a site that they could do that. All of these things. But yet allegedly every person in Philadelphia's criminal justice system and parts of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania's justice system say that this is a suicide. You talk about BS, and I'm refraining from talking in certain languages that may be more open to Tom sitting there waiting for me to really bust out.
You're doing all right now, Joe.
It's BS. I have no respect for them. I have no allegiance to them. I have no reason to even think they're going to do anything right. Everything, even in our agreement, they delayed.
Yeah.
And that's why we're sitting here now having this meeting, because they finally woke up and said, let's get this done. And our attorneys did the right thing to put pressure on the city of Philadelphia to do that. But I haven't finished. They still haven't done the right thing. I said I was going to blast. Tom's never seen me like this. I'm still controlled, aren't I, Tom?
Well, it's like I told you from the beginning. You really don't know how corrupt these people are.
Oh, yes, I do. I now know.
Yeah, well, listen. Let me hop in for 1 second. I think this is very important because I literally don't have to say a word, although it's a little awkward because I'm the host of the show. But I think it is very important for Josh to just speak about this, Sandee and Tom. And Tom, by the way, is not one to hold back, as you're about to find out. I am personally disgusted by what's going on. I talk about this on other shows all the time. I talk about it on my show. I made a separate video. The one thing I will ask of STS, and I don't ask a lot, is to please reach out to Governor Shapiro and the DA, Larry Krasner. Not that they're going to do anything, but they've got this. I've said this before. The most powerful weapon in the world is not a bomb. It is not a firearm. It is a microphone. You put enough pressure on public officials and they start to squirm. And that's what Josh Shapiro needs right now. And he can only get that from you guys at STS Nation. The COE will put up his Twitter account. And we're going to go through some of the details because I was with Josh and Sandee and Tom at this. There was, for those who don't know, that back in February, there was going to be a trial, bitter cold in Philadelphia, eve of the trial. Lo and behold, the medical examiner originally on this case, who was, I believe, maybe forced to switch his findings and eventually ruled this a suicide. Ultimately, on the eve of this trial, in the 11th hour, he said, no mas, and said, look, it wasn't a suicide. It was not a suicide. This is the medical examiner saying that. And the city of Philadelphia owes the Shapiros money because they've spent about $800,000 of their own, but they more importantly, the Greenbergs, excuse me, but they owe much more importantly an investigation. And Sandee, without further ado, I was going to come to you much earlier on.
You're cutting me out, huh?
Yeah, Sandee, I don't think I've ever asked you this, or maybe I have, but the night that this all happened, where were you and how did you find out? And how are you keeping it together all these years later?
Well, Josh had closed his office midday. I was sent home from my office also because of the nor'easter that had already started to, come down pretty heavily. And Ellen was given instructions at her school to, call all the parents and let them know that school would be closing early. She came home from work. We found that she had filled her tank with gas. And like you said, Joel, there were things packed up, her cosmetics and clothing and so forth on the bed. She was making a fruit salad. And so Josh and I were home that evening. We had an early dinner. We were watching TV. And we got a phone call from Richard Goldberg saying something terrible has happened to Ellie, in which I screamed, Josh, pick up the other line, because he had called on our landline, which I thought was rather odd. But nevertheless, that's how he reached us. And we had no idea what was going on. I mean, his parents never came to the apartment, but somehow they made it there during a nor'easter.
Right.
It's very disturbing. And regarding the situation in Philadelphia, I regret signing the agreement, number one. Number two, I've just come to realize what Commonwealth judge removes star witnesses for a civil murder trial. That's what happened here.
Explain a little bit more.
First, Dr. Lindsay Emery was removed as a witness. She's the person that did a second evaluation on Ellen's spinal column and went to her superior, Samuel Galino, and told him that that was a post-mortem wound. But it wasn't revealed to us for another 2 years when she was deposed by the city. That's when we found that out.
When she was deposed by us for another trial. You can imagine our lawyer's response. I think I'm still cleaning up the mess on the floor.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's number one. Dr. Lindsay Emery was removed from the lineup. And then the other person, Guy DeAndrea, was removed.
That's our witness.
Now, I understand judges can do what they want, but let the public know that
By the
this
way,
is what Judge Erdos decided to do.
And for those who don't know,
record.
for those who don't know, because some people don't know all the gaps here, but Joe Pedraza is the attorney for Josh and Sandee. Galino was the head boss medical examiner. And you just heard her mention Guy DeAndrea. He's been a guest on this show. He's a former homicide prosecutor, and he's actually looked at Ellen's file, which has been sort of hidden over the years. But Tom Brennan is one of the silent heroes of this story, retired Pennsylvania state trooper. And I think he's getting ready to go back into action because he just let us know he dropped a whole bunch of weight and he looks fantastic. But Tom, I just saw you not long ago in Philadelphia, where it's always shady. Now, the city of Philadelphia, just to bring everyone up to speed, on the eve of this trial, the city said, and it was a suit against 3 employees. So just for technical purposes here, it was not a lawsuit against the city of Philadelphia, but 3 of their employees. The lawyers for the city of Philadelphia who are representing them agreed that they were going to pay, this is according to the reports I've read, and Josh and Sandee can correct me, about $650,000, of which I believe they've gotten paid nothing. And they said that they were going to reopen and re-examine Ellen's death investigation, and that has not happened either. Tom, let me just start generally with your reaction to the non-action by the part of Philadelphia here.
This is typical of Philadelphia. Okay. What occurred with the judge is typical with, there isn't any legal reason why the judge should strike those witnesses. Okay. None whatsoever. And to begin with, in a trial, they could have put me on the stand and got to those witnesses through me. Okay. So anyone who says that, that couldn't have happened is bullshit, because I'm the one that dealt with Guy DeAndrea right from the beginning. Okay. I'm the one that dealt with him. I'm the one that dealt with Galino right from day one. Okay. I'm the one that dealt with Emery when she was hired by Galino. Okay. So if in fact they were going to strike those witnesses, they could have got what they performed, what they did. They could have put me on the stand and got it through me. Okay. So to begin with, this whole thing, this whole case is about changing the death certificate of Ellen Ray Greenberg. It's not about anything else. Not about anything else. It's not about monies, nothing. That's what this case was all about. And if I would have been able to sit in negotiations, I would have got up and left the room, because the only thing I would have said to him was, we have a jury. We're here. This whole thing is about a trial. Let's have a trial. Let's have a trial.
Yeah. And Tom, I mean, Joe Pedraza is a very competent attorney who's done a lot here. But there's a comment here from Jamie Bond 009, not confused with 7. Didn't they withdraw their civil suit as part of the settlement? I was really worried their promised investigation would not happen. Why did their lawyer agree to this settlement? Tom, do you want to? Yeah.
There was a case that was going before the state Supreme Court. Okay. The people who were fighting that case, if you don't know it or not, is the Medical Examiners Association. They're the ones that didn't want the Supreme Court hearing this case. And the city knew that, okay, because they were working with the city. So, and I don't know why they would agree to not go forward with that case. That you'll have to talk to Sandee and Josh about, because I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, Josh, let me hop in there, because you said you're disappointed that you signed this deal. Obviously, I guess in hindsight, you don't think you should have. Have you talked with Joe Pedraza about this? And I mean, what is the recourse now? What can you do now, Josh?
Joe felt that if we got this signed verification letter from Osborne, that was a really critical piece of information. And I guess he believed that the city would deliver.
Yeah,
The problem is Sandee and I are not attorneys. We were faced with a situation essentially where we were picking a jury in a separate room from the courtroom with our attorneys and the opposing attorneys and the judge. And they were talking and we weren't part of the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And the feeling was when the judge was going to disallow our main witness and first witness, we were against it. The best he could do was get this agreement. And it is, relatively speaking, the agreement is good, but that's relatively speaking. But as an agreement that I would like to have seen and that I'm going to have to live with, I'm not happy. There's a point I'd like to bring out here that bothers me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
This case went to a higher level judge, 3 women judges. And although they said Sandee and I didn't have standing to do this, they wrote 30 pages of the reasons why we should find out what Ellen's death was, the truth. And that was laid out there to get us to the Supreme Court, and it did get us there. But the city of Philadelphia, and I'm going to include the Commonwealth in my comments. I think the Commonwealth is just as bad as the city. Then they should be included unless they can show me that they didn't do anything. They got the city and the Commonwealth to just work together against us. We were not the power. Theoretically, the judge could have thrown out all our witnesses and everybody and given everybody immunity, which they did on the first immunity session we had a month before this February 3rd one. And we never understood why he split it up, but that's the way he did it. Like I'm saying, he gave the medical examiner who was brought in to review the tissue in my daughter, who said it was a postmortem wound, immunity, even though she did not sit down and write her report, which I feel she was ethically and morally responsible to do as a medical examiner. You know, it's to protect and serve you. That was the thing we learned in school. Mm-hmm. These people are not protecting and serving Ellen. Not me, not Sandee, not Tom. Ellen. Ellen's the one who's not being protected and served.
When you take a look at this, okay, and you learn, okay, the fact that, okay, Josh and Sandee had a meeting early on with police management and the DA's office.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was by that meeting was chaired by Jennifer Selber.
Oh yeah.
Who is now general counsel to the governor. Okay. Jennifer Selber is all over this case. She's chair of that meeting. She was Guy DeAndrea's supervisor. Okay, she gave Guy DeAndrea permission to take a look at the case. Guy DeAndrea gave her memos on what, in fact, his findings were. Okay, where's Jennifer Selber in all of this? Okay, where's Jennifer Selber in all of this?
I think you're telling them where she was.
Yeah,
that's another of the things that don't make any sense. Why are the same people?
Josh Shapiro was Attorney General, and he had the case. Guess who was
right
the head of the Criminal Investigation Division for the Attorney General's office? Jennifer Selber.
So what Tom is saying,
I met with Michelle Henry. Guess who was with Michelle Henry? Jennifer Selber.
So Tom, let me ask you something, because this is so important that you guys are providing this information and having a chance to just sort of get this off of your chest. But I want this to be effective. Is Jennifer Selber, if people in our community and we're getting a couple million views a month, and I've asked everyone to share this, and I'm going to get together again with Gavin Fish and the other podcasters, but can we contact Jennifer Selber? Is that something we can do?
She's a public servant.
You could try.
Yeah.
So everybody, Jennifer Selber, I assume it's SELBER, Tom?
Yes.
Well, the COE is going to find contact info.
Okay. When we got involved in this,
mm-hmm.
She was a supervisor in the homicide prosecution unit. Okay, in the DA's office.
Right.
Then she became uh, chief of staff for Josh Shapiro when he was Attorney General. Now she's his general counsel, that he's governor. Okay. And she is all over this case.
And Tom, I don't think people realize. So
What Tom is saying here is the same people that reviewed the case in Philadelphia ended up re-reviewing their own work in the Attorney General's office.
But there's no conflict of interest.
And it's the same people. Do you understand the concept here? That's why it's crooked?
It's ludicrous. Yeah, I get it. Tom, one of the things that a lot of people who are just tuning in don't understand is this connection to Josh Shapiro. So the night Ellen is found dead, Sam Goldberg, the fiance, contacts Kamian Schwartzman. Kamian Schwartzman's father is James Schwartzman. James Schwartzman also has a daughter. That daughter went, Gavin Fish figured this out. Schwartzman's daughter went to school, a Jewish day school in Philadelphia with, guess who? Josh Shapiro, right? So let me just flat out ask you, is Governor Shapiro here covering his... Is he covering this up to protect the Schwartzmans here? Is that what's going on?
No, to protect himself.
I think I'm of the opinion that when he had the case as Attorney General, he had it for 4.5 years. Mm-hmm. Why doesn't somebody ask the Attorney General today, is there a case file on the Ellen Ray Greenberg case on their electronic filing system? What they're going to find out is that they don't have a file. If they don't have who has the file?
Let me stop you there, Tom. I mean, was it never created, or was it is it conveniently hidden somewhere?
That's it. If there isn't any file, they didn't do an investigation. Okay. If they would have done an investigation, they'd have a file.
You know, I'm losing my mind. By the way, after every one of these shows, I want you, Josh, Sandee, and Tom to know that my Jewish mother, Carm, calls me and says, stop messing with the governor. They're very powerful. They can do things to you. I don't give a crap. Not a crap. Those people are public servants that need to answer to us. I am so frustrated because I'm sitting in a glorified walk-in closet in Miami, and I don't know what to do other than to keep hosting these shows. The only way anything's going to happen is if the people watching this show right now make somehow this video go viral and everyone starts reaching out to Governor Shapiro and Jennifer Selber, who you heard was general counsel, was in Philadelphia, and is now essentially, according to Josh, re-reviewing their own work that they're not going to find because they've never done an investigation. But Tom, you said the whole case is about changing the death certificate of Ellen Ray Greenberg. What impact then did Dr. Marlon Osborne, the original medical examiner on the eve of this civil suit back in February, coming out and signing a letter officially, basically what amounts to a sworn affidavit saying it was not a suicide? He said this, he signed his name to it.
Dr. Osborne has the ability to sit down today and fill out a death certificate with either homicide or undetermined. Okay? He can sit down and do that right now. Why he isn't is beyond me. Once he said it's something other than suicide, I would have said to him, doctor, complete a death certificate right now. Complete a death certificate.
I mean, is it a question now that, I mean, it can't be retroactive? In other words, Joe Pedraza. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, can't Joe Pedraza, can't Joe go to these people and threaten another suit or say,
no,
I mean, threaten some sort of legal action because they haven't lived up to their half of the deal. Someone's asking if the settlement can be reversed. Can the settlement be reversed?
That I couldn't tell you. That you would have to discuss with Joe. I don't believe once it's signed, I don't believe you can do anything about it.
Unless they don't live up to their, if they never fulfill the remaining parts of the settlement, I'll bet you can break the settlement.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
once they fulfill their responsibilities, that's it.
I'm just simultaneously, by the way, this is Governor Shapiro's handle on X. I'm just asking everyone to please tweet, retweet, and tweet again. I don't care if it's this show, another show. Gavin Fish has done a ton. Philadelphia Inquirer's done whatever it is. Attach a story and reach out to this guy. And if someone in STS Nation can find me a contact or a Twitter account for Jennifer Selber, who is general counsel for the governor, please let me know. And I'm going to put that up here now. So, I mean, Tom, since February, when this all happened and the settlement was reached, is there anything that you've been able to do, or have you just been in this holding pattern now?
There are some other things that I've been doing. Okay. And, and I don't want to talk about them right now, but there's several things that we're working on. And the one situation that I'm working on is going very, very well. Okay. And there's another situation where I'm just starting to put some things together, and to get maybe get the federal government involved. Okay. Because I think if we can get this case, okay, before the present, Republican administration in DC, I think that the federal government can get involved in the corruption end of things. Okay. Because
and you've got, I mean, I don't want to get political, but you've got the right political setup here, because you've got a president and a DOJ that's not probably too fond of Governor Shapiro. So I think that would work to your advantage right now. And I hope that the federal government does step in right now. They need to.
Well, we're discussing some of those things, and we're working on some of those things right now. So if I can get some things put together, for some people, maybe we can get, maybe those are maybe that's the route to go. Okay.
There's some lawyers in here saying that since they haven't lived up to their part of the deal, that it's probably a breach of contract. And I'm not an attorney, so I don't know, but we have plenty of attorneys that watch this show. I'm going to put up Lindsay Gandy emailing some staffers info right now. COE, can you get that and immediately put it into the summary, please? And also put it up here on the screen. And also, I know I'm asking a lot, but I'd like to play that. Brian Enton is a friend of ours. He's a dogged reporter for News Nation. And he, Sandee, I'll let you respond to this. I mean, Brian Enton, a few weeks, and you know Brian well, because he's also working the case. Yeah. But I mean, he went up to Josh Shapiro, and I pulled some, I want to get the actual sound. Josh Shapiro said this was a news conference for something totally different. It wasn't like it wasn't like he was addressing this issue. He's running from it. But he said, we never saw any evidence to suggest anything different than a suicide. He didn't say the word suicide, but I did. He goes, I was the attorney general. I led the review. We never saw anything to indicate homicide. If new evidence emerges, new information, then of course it should be looked at. The problem with this statement is it came after the fact, after Dr. Marlon Osborne, the medical examiner, said, no, it wasn't a suicide. Right. That's new information. Josh or Sandee, whichever one of you, do you want to address that?
Well, the first thing I want to let your audience know is, if I am correct, Brian is going to be on Ashley Banfield's show tonight on News Nation.
Right.
I think he will be covering this topic.
Yeah, and by the way, I don't want to forget Nancy Grace, who's been on our show. She has a book out now
on this.
So, yeah. So if you want to learn, and forgive me, I don't have the title in front of me, but Ellen or Josh,
What happened to Ellen?
What happened to Ellen?
If you can order that, it will lay out this entire case. Nancy and I have the same publisher, so hopefully Anthony Zaccardi, the publisher, shout out to him, will appreciate it. But it's a whole primer on this case, and Nancy Grace has gotten involved. We need these big names in media to step in, but now I'm all turned around, Sandee. I don't even remember.
I'd like to say something. At that news conference that Brian did with the governor, the governor said that they had produced new evidence, meaning when he was attorney general and governor. That's a lie. It's a plain, bold-faced lie. They have never produced any new evidence. They did have a quote-unquote expert witness review the case and make a summary, but they never did anything, and they never were equipped to do anything. So that was a bold-faced lie.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that news conference.
And Sandee, when you saw that, and look, this guy is a smooth politician.
He's very smooth,
this guy could. I don't think a lot of people know this, and I think I'm able to divulge it because I'm about to. But Josh and Sandee, on the Jewish high holidays, the big holidays, they actually attend the same synagogue. And Josh Shapiro literally ran, just kind of hid from them, would not speak to them. I mean, that is a coward. If you ask me.
Security put me aside and wouldn't let me near him.
They have a real public servant really trying to help the people of the Commonwealth. And then you see his social media. Karma's going to, Josh, I'm going to need your help when my mom starts. I'm 55 years old. She'll be screaming at me that I'm getting myself,
his security people literally hold me away.
It's something has got to change. Tom, back to you here. I'm so frustrated, and you must be too. I mean, you're as tough as they come, and you've been doing this for enough years that you have that patience and kind of the wiseness of a slightly older man than myself. But I mean, besides going to the feds now, what can you do besides that? What can we do? I just feel so helpless. And that's why, I told Josh and Sandee I want to do this show today. And it's not a typical show. Usually I come prepare with 1,000 questions and this and that, but that's not what this is about. This is like, what can we do?
There's currently a new state attorney general. Okay. Attorney General Sandee, Dave Sandee. Okay. And, they can contact him and see if we can strike up some interest there.
And I'm looking Dave Sandee up right now, his Twitter, because that's how I reach out to people. I think that's the best way to do it. COE, if you can find an X account for Dave Sandee, the Attorney General currently. The COE was able to pull up. This is the press conference with Governor Shapiro. And keep in mind, this comes after the fact of the medical examiner, the original medical examiner, Dr. Marlon Osborne, saying this was not a suicide. And this is how Governor Shapiro responds.
Do you think there should be a new criminal investigation?
Well, look, I don't think I should speak for the city of Philadelphia and why they chose to make the decision they did. There's nothing I want.
Sorry, the COE is running this on her.
More than to give these parents some finality, some answers, some clarity. And we received more evidence, more information during the course of our investigation that sadly didn't show what they wanted it to show, but actually rather pointed to more data, more information that pointed toward a suicide. Hopeful that as this process goes forward, if any new information comes to bear, that it immediately be shared with the Chester County District Attorney and allow the DA
how about
there
the
to,
medical examiner saying it wasn't a
investigation of
suicide,
that
Josh?
material.
Exactly.
It's lying. He's absolutely lying. It's a bold-faced lie.
Tom,
He
when
never
you
did anything. Look at Tom's face.
I mean,
Can't
Tom,
believe he said that.
Tom, at the very beginning of this, I'm probably not good for this show. I should have the COE here because I'm gonna lose my mind. But Tom, let me ask you a question. At the beginning of this, you said to Josh, I told you the city of Philadelphia is corrupt. What do you, I mean? I know what you're saying, but specifically, what do you mean? I mean, is this just?
I worked in the city of Philadelphia, okay, for 8 years. I had the organized crime unit for the Pennsylvania State Police and the electronic surveillance unit, okay? And we worked very close with the Philadelphia PD Major Crimes Unit, okay? We arrested Rizzo's son-in-law, okay, who was grossing $7 million a week on sports betting and cocaine.
It's a lot of money.
Okay. But, you know, even with all of that, okay, you could see, you know, when these people went to court, it was a small fine and behave yourself for 2 years. Okay. And you could see where the courts, it's unreal. In Philadelphia, the court system is unreal. And the pandemic didn't help a bit, did not help us a bit because, they basically shut down their judicial system in Philadelphia. But, you know, everything is deserving of its, you want what? What are you going to give me? Okay. That's the way things go in Philadelphia. All right. And for anybody to say otherwise is bullshit. I'm sorry.
Tom, I'm gonna let you get a sip of water there. I hate putting this photo up, but Josh and Sandee are unfortunately used to it. But this is the rendering that was done, and this shows the different stab wounds with a knife in the chest, plus this gash. And Josh, you've been very vocal about this. Not only were all these stab wounds found on her, but Gavin counted the number of other bruises. And tell everyone what you believe those bruises to be and why they're so important.
Well, first looking at these stab wounds, I don't think there's anything there that's going to kill anybody. I think they were all superficial, and this was a cover-up. The only stab wounds that were really significant were the one in the chest and the one in the back of the head. But I think the gash on the top of the head is significant. I think that there are finger marks on her neck, like strangulation, that are significant. And I think there were bruises on her hands, like she was being restrained, that are significant. But this is the cover-up, in my mind. This picture shows you, look how superficial those wounds are. Who's going to get killed from that? What was your other question? I'm sorry.
No, but you guys hired, and I'm just blanking on his name right now, a private medical examiner, right? Who believes that Ellen was actually strangled. Is that right?
Right.
Ross.
Dr. Ross.
Dr. Ross. Yeah, Dr.
That's
Wayne
what I'm
Ross.
saying also.
Okay. So is that when you say these are superficial, you're implying that
look how shallow they are.
Yeah.
How many of those knives go below the skin even?
But you believe she was strangled to death?
Yes, I believe she was strangled. She was dead. And then they started stabbing her to cover it up and make it look like a suicide. And they cried like it was suicide. But why does she have a gash on the top of her head? Where'd that come from? Heaven?
COE, can you pull up the 911 call, COE, if we can get to that too? I'm sorry. You look at this photo. I mean, every time you show this to somebody, they're incredulous.
Don't count the number of wounds. Look how deep they go.
Yeah.
Go
ahead, Tom.
When I had this done, okay. When I had this done, even the mechanical engineer and the computer engineer, they couldn't believe that all these, you could see the depth of these different wounds, okay? And they couldn't believe that, you know, this one wound here, okay, that's eye, okay, on the left-hand side.
Yeah, eye at the bottom. Yep.
That wound punctures the liver, okay? Now, tell me that someone who punctures their liver is going to be able to do all this other stuff, okay? Or someone, okay, like N on the right-hand side. That wound, okay, goes in and then in an upward direction, that wound track, and it causes a hemorrhage in the brain. So how in the hell can this person continue to stab themselves?
It just defies all logic, right?
Yeah, it defies all logic. All logic.
I mean, Tom, do you also do you align with Dr. Wayne Ross, believing that she was actually strangled? Because she does have you know, those marks, ligature marks, I guess, on her neck or hand marks, right?
I reviewed the photographs with Wayne Ross. All right. And that's when we discovered the marks on Ellen's neck. All right. Where you could see the nail mark for, you know, where she was trying to get the hands from off her neck. Okay. And we also took a look at the both wrists. Both wrists are excised, okay? And you can see the bruising underneath on both wrists. So, you know, what Ellen went through was unbelievable.
Don't take this picture off the screen. Go ahead.
Yeah,
And the wound in the back of the head. Excuse me. The wound on the scalp. Any criminal investigative analyst will tell you that wound is either fight or flight. Ellen was either, you know, fighting with the suspect, or she was getting away from the suspect.
The significance of this picture is when the autopsy was done, there were two types of wounds. There was wounds performed by a serrated edge and then wounds performed by a straight edge. How many suicides have a characteristic like that in the world?
Probably zero.
Zero. And if you want to go a step further, if you talk to somebody like a Cyril Wecht, who just passed away, who was the first person we contacted to find an expert, the number of women that are now committing suicide with knives or violence is almost zero. It's now pills and things like that, things that don't hurt, things that whatever like that. So the whole thing is so bogus, it's amazing.
And Josh, people also don't know the body was according to people who have looked at this, the body was moved as well. Explain that, because the blood flow.
There was blood going from Ellen's nose to her ear. Now,
you know, that was the first thing when I looked at the photographs. That was the first thing I picked up on, was the dried and coagulated blood that ran from her nose to her ear, which indicated to me that the body had been moved. Okay. The body, she had been laying on her back for
at some point, right?
Prior to her being moved,
because she was found sitting up.
And if you listen to the 911 call, where does Sam say the victim is lying? on her back.
On her back. Correct. Which is
Right.
why COE is trying to pull that up. Also, Tom, the knife block in the kitchen is toppled over, which is
Yes. Yes.
Meant there was a struggle.
That
Ver-
that block of knives was given to Ellen by Sam's father.
I honestly, I'm just at a loss for words, which I'm usually not. I'm just so frustrated. We've done these shows for the better part of 2 years, and it just seems like you're going up a down escalator. And not you, but all of us collectively. And you just want to scream at Josh Shapiro.
And the city of Philadelphia.
And the city, Larry Krasner, who's the DA there.
He was our lawyer. When
Really?
this case started, he was our lawyer. And we asked for our records, and we never got our records. Nothing happened till I wrote a complaint to the city that we did not get our records. Then all of a sudden, we have a hearing run by a lawyer that said, because we said we never got our records. Do you know if he sent the records, he sent it without a receipt or a tracking number? Because they never got to us. But Tom will tell you that there was a communication or something, and the wording of that communication was exactly like Krasner's records, right, Tom?
Yes. And I have emails from Josh, from Krasner to Josh, okay, with Krasner stating what he was doing with the city solicitor, okay, in working to get the police file and all this other stuff, okay?
Yeah, and for those who don't know, Larry Krasner is the DA, elected district attorney in the city of Philadelphia. One of the things that it's always unclear, nebulous, Tom, was this case ever? I know you talked about the file, but did the police, even on that first night, was it ever investigated? Can you say that this case was ever investigated?
No. There are some reports that they did something else, after Sandee and Josh started raising a fuss, but they never did anything. And that's the cover up really started when Josh and Sandee questioned
Bolting.
the suicide ruling. Okay. Why would you have a meeting with the DA, the police, and the medical examiner, chief medical examiner, and the assistant that did the autopsy, and not make a record of that meeting? Why would that occur? Why would you tell the individual, the forensic neurologist that you hired, why would you tell her to take a look at these specimens and not give you a report? Not give you a written report. Why?
After she's told you her findings, and they're very important findings.
Why would you for 2 years tell us and our counsel that you're working on it? You're working on it. You haven't completed it. Why would you do that?
Because they don't want to be found out.
Yeah, that's what this is all about. I mean,
and even today, they're saying that the medical examiner is working on it. I mean, what do they need? First, what do they have, and what do they need to come up with a conclusion on Ellen's death anymore?
Yeah.
They can't look at the body. The only way they looked at the body was Osborne, and he now says it was not a suicide.
That's the part that I'm tripped up on, Josh, Tom, and
Why?
Sandee. So he signed this legal, what I understood to
Verification.
be a verification letter. So can't that be, I don't know, taken to someone, the attorney general, anybody, and say, look, This is
Well,
the
they know it's
medical
out
opinion.
there. They know it's out there. That's not a
And,
type of a document in a case like this that would not be. They want
and
to
to
know why he's not being prosecuted, why he got off. He got off because he cooperated.
and to be clear, you never received any of the money that they claimed that they were going to give
We
you. Is that
just
right?
did. No, that's not
Oh, you,
true.
oh, you did get it. Okay.
Yeah, we did. The case was settled in the agreement came to fruition in February, and we just got it in July, which they said they were going to do, which I never
Oh,
understood. I mean, if I'm signing the paper, why can't you give me the money now or give me the exam on Ellen's? And I don't care what they say. I mean, there's so much lying that has gone on in this case.
And
It's
everything's being
ridiculous.
withheld.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the information, the no reports, they're withholding it.
Mhm.
What's the point?
Yeah.
Look, even in
Copper-
the negotiations for this stupid settlement, they didn't say, well, we feel badly that Ellen's being accused of suicide and she really didn't do it. But no, what they say, we're afraid of being sued. That's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of their own asses because they've screwed up this case so badly, and then they lied about it, which makes it even worse.
Yeah. The cover up of the cover up's always the worst. You
Right.
see here, the Copper Horse has again at Twitter, Governor Shapiro is his handle. Please tweet and retweet me. And we'll get to the general counsel as well, whose name I don't have right in front of me, but that's the person who Tom just told us about. But just a couple more things, because if I go any longer, I think I'm gonna have an aneurysm. But Josh, to you, that night, again, Philly's getting a couple of feet of snow, and Sam Goldberg texts Ellen saying hello, and then he says, "Open the door," and then he says, "What are you doing?" And then he says, "I'm getting pissed." And then he
Right.
says, "You better have an excuse." And then
Right.
it gets progressive. What the F? And he uses the word. Now, you're the one that told us, I believe, that Ellen's bags were packed. What was going on in the relationship leading into that night? The outward appearances where everything was, Instagram perfect, but in reality, it was not, correct?
But you have
Wait. How can I answer that question? Of course it wasn't perfect. Ellen was suffering from anxiety because of this. Ellen wasn't performing well. Ellen's personality had changed. I didn't like anything about the way Ellen was behaving as her father of 26 years. The 27th year is when this happened. I thought there were things wrong. I'm the one that brought in a psychiatrist that she should go see so I could figure out a way to get her out of there and get some treatment. So I had two purposes. One, find out what's going on with my daughter because I was not a psychiatrist or psychologist. And two, give me an excuse to get her out of there so she doesn't lose her job if she leaves. My only interest in those days, because I was ignorant of what was really going on, was my daughter. What was happening with my daughter? How could I help my daughter? And she would allow me allow me to do it. We all have children, and children don't always do what you wanted them to do. But I made a deal, and Ellen will live up to a deal. I knew that.
Yeah. Sandee, I know you wanted to say something.
but I forgot.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna just a couple
I want
more
one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead, Josh.
In that judicial decision that I mentioned, the last paragraph of the second page, the medical examiner, the district attorney, the police, I leave anybody out, made a faulty investigation. That's what the three judges wrote and signed.
We don't have the 911 call, but Tom, there's something I don't think we do. But Tom, on that call, aside from not literally sounding perturbed that the 911 operator says, can you give her CPR? And his answer was, do I have to? Or something along those lines. But then Tom Brennan, he says at one point, and now I think we do have it. Let's play this call and listen for the part where he gives the reason. What he tells the operator what he believes happened, that she fell on the knife. COE, let this play. This is a 911 call. The evening of January 26, 2011, when Ellen is found dead. We'll play this. It's 4 minutes. That's fine. We're going to play all 4 minutes, and then we'll get some final thoughts and final thoughts after that. COE, let her rip.
Everywhere.
What is the address?
Help! I need everything out. I just
COE's having a couple of Wi-Fi
everywhere.
issues. We're gonna get that
What
back
is
up.
the
Here we go.
address?
Help! I need everything out. I just walked to my apartment. My fiance's on the floor with blood everywhere.
What is the address?
4601 Flat Rock Road. Please come help now.
4601
Flat Rock Road.
Is this a house or apartment?
Oh no! Oh no! It's an apartment. Please hurry,
Where
please.
is she bleeding from?
I don't know. I can't tell. She's.
No, sir, you have to calm yourself down in order to get you some help.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm looking at her right now. I can't see anything. There's nothing broken. She's bleeding. Ellie.
You don't know where she's bleeding from? Can't see
Ellie.
where the blood's coming from?
I think her head. I think she hit her head. I think, but it's everywhere.
Okay, sir,
It's everywhere.
think she might have fallen. Do you know what happened?
She may have slipped. There's blood on the table. Her face is a little purple.
Okay, hold on for rescue for her. Stay on the phone. What's wrong?
I went downstairs to go work out. I came back up. The door was latched. My fiance's inside. She wasn't answering. So after about a half hour, I decided to break it down. I see her now just on the floor with blood. She's not responding.
Okay, is she breathing? Look at her chest. I need you to calm down, and I need you to look at her chest. It's really.
I really don't think she is.
Listen to me. Someone's on the way. Look at her chest. Is she flat on her back?
She's on her back. So I bring her.
Look at her chest and tell me if it's going up and down, up and down.
I don't see her moving.
Okay, do you know how to do CPR?
I don't.
Okay, I can tell you what to do, okay, until they get there. I want you to keep her flat on her.
God.
Hello?
Yeah, hi, okay.
Are you willing to do CPR with me over the phone until they get there?
I have to, right?
Okay, so get her flat on her back, bare her chest, okay? You want to rip her shirt off. Okay? Kneel down by her side.
Oh, my God. Ellie, please.
Listen, you can't freak out, sir, because you
Okay, I'm trying not. Her shirt won't come off. It's a zipper. Oh, my God. She stabbed herself.
Where?
She fell with a knife. Oh, no. Her knife's sticking out.
Her what?
There's a knife sticking out of her heart.
Oh, she stabbed herself?
Stop it right there,
I don't know where she
COE.
fell on it. I don't know.
Okay, well, don't
We are
touch
dealing with a real Dick Tracy here. It took him so long to see a 5-inch knife handle sticking out of a person's chest, wrapped in a towel.
The most incredulous part about this, I'm going to have the COE take it back in just a second. But Tom, he literally is telling 911 how she died, that she fell on the knife.
Yes.
How would he know that? How would he know that?
Why did it take him so long to see the 5-inch? Go ahead, Tom.
How would he know that she has a wound to her head?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How would he know that? Okay. That wound is significant. That wound caused most of the blood loss. Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm.
How would he know that? And if you listen, okay, if you take a look at the statements of some other witnesses, these other witnesses are repeating what he's telling the individual on the phone. And when he's doing that, he's walking back and forth in the hall. He's not in the apartment.
Yeah.
So for the major part of this, he's not in the apartment. He's out in the hall.
People don't know he's apparently married with kids, living in New York City, just going on with
his $2 million apartment.
$2 million apartment. There you go. I'm gonna have COE just take this back a hair. I feel bad almost playing this, but I think it's important to hear it, and then we'll get final thoughts. Either Julie Frew or the COE or anyone. Can someone just compile some of these contact emails in one comment, and then we can put it up for everyone to just grab them, because that's important. But COE, let's take it back a hair, play this out, and then we'll give you guys the contact info. If someone can find Jennifer Selber, the general counsel to the governor, if you can find her either X account or email, please put it in the chat. But COE, let's take this back a touch and play it, and then we'll get some final thoughts.
Okay, she stabbed herself.
Where?
She fell on a knife. Oh no, her knife's sticking out.
What?
There's a knife sticking out of her heart.
Oh, she stabbed herself?
I guess so. I don't know where she fell on it. I don't know.
Okay, well, don't touch it.
Okay, so I just let her here now. I mean, what do I do?
No, I mean, you can't. If the knife is in her chest, it's going to be kind of hard for you to do CPR at this time.
Oh no. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Police with operator. 277.
Is someone coming here?
Yes, they are. You said 4601 Flat Rock, right?
Yes.
Okay, someone's on the way. And the knife is still inside?
Wait, so what?
The knife is still inside of her?
Yes, I didn't take it out.
Is it her chest or what area?
It's in her chest. It looks like it's right in her heart.
Okay, someone's on the way out there. Okay, just get.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Okay.
How old is she?
She's 27.
27, and there's no sign of life at all.
No, please don't be. What?
Pinch her under her arm and tell me if she responds to pain.
She's Ellie. She's not. Her hands are still warm. I don't know what that means, but there's blood everywhere. I mean,
I know, but you can't. And the knife is still inside of her. How far? Can you see how far it went in?
It looks pretty deep.
Okay.
It looks straight. I mean, it's a long knife.
Don't touch anything. Yeah, don't touch anything. Okay?
I'm not touching anything. I can't believe this though.
So wait, it was just you there with her?
We're the only ones here.
And she ran in the door. You said latched it shut.
No. I went downstairs to work out, and when I came back up, the door was latched.
Oh.
Like it was, it wasn't like it was, it was like locked from the inside, and I'm yelling. So I'm
was
yelling.
Your house
and
broken into?
No.
So there's no sign of a break-in?
No sign of a break-in at all. I mean, there will be when you get here because I had to break the latch, but
What bullshit.
to get in.
Okay, 4601.
All right. That's just painful, and I apologize to Josh.
I have a
and Sandy,
sense
but I
that
think
the 911 call is almost laughing at it herself, that she doesn't believe him either.
I mean, the way Tom, I mean, you've been an investigator for probably close to 50 years. The way he goes in and out of this kind of manic stage to then being perfectly fine. I know everyone reacts differently, but that seems off to me.
When the operator asks whether or not he removed the knife, he laughs.
Yeah.
He laughs, saying, "No, I didn't remove the knife." So it puzzles me. I would like to know, okay, what exactly his statement was, if he gave any at all to the police
That night.
in the headquarters.
Do we know? Was he even interviewed that night? I thought he was never interviewed that night.
He supposedly was taken into district headquarters for questioning.
I'm sorry, Lindsay Gandy has. If you have that number and it's an office number, you can put it in the chat, Lindsay. I just don't want a private number, but if it's a public number, Lindsay, pop that into the chat for us. But go ahead, Tom. I'm sorry.
But this whole thing, okay, because they botch the initial investigation right at the beginning. This whole thing stinks to high heaven. Everybody that takes a look at it. Now, in September, Dr. Ross and I are going out to Ohio to do a presentation on it. But, and this is all Identification Officers Association in Ohio. Okay.
What can I see? What the presenting to who and what's the purpose?
The Ohio Identification Officers Association. Okay.
And is there something that
individuals that process crime scenes?
Okay.
And for anyone to take a look at this crime scene and not have your crime scene folks come out and process the scene. Take the photographs, do all the exams, do the luminol. I mean, you can take a look at the some of the photographs, and in the one photograph you see a clump of hair, and it looks like someone ran a cloth over the top of it, was wiping it up. Okay, and that's on the floor. So why didn't these people have their crime scene people process the scene? And just like the property manager, Melissa Ware, she does a video of the entire scene prior to crime scene cleanups getting there to clean up the scene. She's trying to protect her company. She tells this to the police. The police take the video. Okay, now we ask for the video. They don't have it. Why? Where is it?
You're looking here, the two senators from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, John Fetterman, I'm going to read it because some people are listening to this. His number is 215-241-1090, 215-241-1090. And then you've got David McCormick. He's 215-405-9660, 215-405-9660. And insist that you speak to somebody and call over and over. Jennifer Selber serves as general counsel to Governor Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania. You can contact her office, the governor's office of general counsel. Phone number 717-783-6563, 717-783-6563. When I tell you that a microphone is the most important weapon or dangerous weapon, it is. Call, give your friends these numbers, have them call, and have those friends call, and have those friends call. Again, this number is very important because this is the person who's been with Governor Shapiro the whole time and knows the case. 717 COE, I lost that. 717-783-6563, 717-783-6563, Jennifer Selber. Are you telling me, Tom Brennan, the question here, that they did not process the crime scene? And not only that, they allowed Sam Goldberg's uncle to hire a cleaning service that came in there, or someone hired a cleaning service to professionally clean it. But did they not process the crime scene, Tom?
No. They did not process the crime scene. And when the property manager called the next morning following, she got a call from Jimmy Schwartzman, and she said, well, I'll have to call the police to see if you can get in. She called the police, and the police said, yeah, you can let him in. And she said, well, it's all bloody. He said, well, that's not our problem. That's your problem or the renters. And they said, well, we'll give you the telephone number for crime scene cleanups, and they'll send some people out and clean it up. So that's when she called crime scene cleanups, and they came out and cleaned it up. And she said the last thing she remembers was them putting all the knives into the dishwasher.
If this was made into a Netflix movie, no one would believe it because it's so ridiculous. You would just be like, this is, it's the worst written script I've ever seen because it's absurd. No one would ever believe this. So, Tom Brennan, before I get to Josh and Sandy, you kind of just gave your final word, but I mean, I know you don't want to show your hand too much, but I mean, how actively are you still working this case? Your final thoughts?
Oh, I'm still actively working it. I mean, there's still opportunities out there for us to take advantage of. And, like I said, we're going to take advantage of everything that we possibly can, because this is all about getting justice for Ellen. That's what it started out to be. That's what it is right now. Justice for Ellen. I mean, my God, how can Sandee and Josh ever have any peace at all when you have these assholes in Philadelphia conjuring up their bullshit. You know, it's just unreal, just unreal.
I love Tom. He says it like it is. Here's a number for Governor Josh Shapiro's office. This is the main number. Insist to speak to a human. And it is better to call, I think, than email. Twitter's, you can get so far if you can get it to go viral. But Josh Shapiro's office number, 717-787-2500. 717-787-2500. 717-787-2500, and ask to speak to someone. They are public servants. It's not the other way around.
And I've emailed Governor Shapiro over a dozen times and never received an answer.
And this is coming from a private investigator who, by the way, has a very impressive long, career at the Pennsylvania State Troopers. And there you go. The governor of you see him. He's always surrounded by the state troopers whenever they're making some big announcement. They captured Danilo Cavalcante, the fugitive, and
Yes.
he's always surrounded by the state troopers. But when a state trooper calls him for help, the call goes unanswered. Here it is again, 717-787-2500. All I can say is I'm beyond frustrated. I can't imagine what it is like for Josh and Sandee. I can, obviously you can see the frustration on their face. If this was my mom, she'd either just check out or she'd probably show up with a hammer at Josh Shapiro's front door and threaten him. She wouldn't use it, but she'd threaten him. But I don't know how Josh and Sandee are doing this. So Josh and Sandee, Josh, I'm going to give your wife the last word. So how are you? And how are you? Your final thoughts, Josh?
My final thoughts is the city stinks. They lie, they cheat. If they could, they would steal. And that's it. There's no other doubt about it in my mind.
Sandee Greenberg, you're a woman of elegance and grace, just like your daughter would have grown up to be. You got to keep that husband in check sometimes, which I like because my wife has to do the same thing with me. But Josh obviously has a heart of gold and wants justice for his daughter, as we all do. By the way, today is the anniversary, on top of everything else, of Dan Markel's death. He actually died the day after, and I reached out to the Markels and let them know that STS was thinking about him. But Sandee, I don't know how you do it. Like I said, you're full of grace and class, unlike the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, unlike Josh Shapiro, unlike Larry Krasner, who are just bottom feeders. Yes, I said it, Carm. They're bottom feeders. All they want to do is advance their political careers, and it's sad and pathetic. But Sandee, your final thoughts.
Well, unfortunately, it's 14 and a half years. We haven't gone away. We haven't quit. We will not be quitting. So if you want to see who's going to be left standing, it's going to be me and my husband, because we're not giving up. And eventually, it's all going to come back to bite them, and they will have to live with their shenanigans.
I want these people in Pennsylvania, every time they look at a lady, their daughter, their granddaughter, to see my daughter's bloody head with the blood coming out of the top of her head, with the nail marks on her neck, with the 20 stab wounds, the stab wound in the back. That's what they should see when they see another young woman for the rest of their lives.
Powerful stuff. Josh Shapiro, I'm talking to you directly. Hell hath no fury like parents scorned. You just heard Sandee say that she and Josh will be standing. And at the end of all this, I'm not so sure that your political career will be. So do the right thing while you have the time. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Please tweet, retweet, share, Facebook, Instagram, not for STS. I couldn't care less. You can share Nancy Grace's book, whatever you want to do. Just share and get the story out there and get to the governor. Call on the phone. Be civil, be courteous, be respectful. No threats needed. That's not how we roll. But you tell him that he's got to do the job that he is being paid by the taxpayers to do. Larry Krasner, you can learn from that too. Josh Fetterman, the senator, and Dave McCormick, the senators, hopefully will step up as well. So thank you all for being here. Love you, America. Love you, parts of Pennsylvania where Josh and Sandee and Tom live, but not Philadelphia today. It's always shady in Philly. It annoys the crap out of me. Thank you guys. And Josh, Sandee, Tom, stick around for 1 second.